but we can glean certain aspects from every single one of these cases, and the first and foremost aspect that I get out of it is security. Security has to be of prime and utmost importance in everyone's life, whether you're abroad or in your own home country, but especially when you go abroad, because at that point in time you do stand out and you do get profiled and you do get marked. Hey everybody, welcome back to our Retire Early Lifestyle, also known as the Freedom or Liberty Lifestyle. And today we're talking about, yes, another crime story, but listen, it's important that we visit these stories because we need to always keep things in mind. When you look at being a diligent person and a diligent mind, a diligent person, a diligent mind doesn't ignore facts. We want to include facts. We want to put them all in the pot and make the soup with all of it so that we can get the complete flavor of, what we're contemplating on doing. And it also makes for interesting conversation because in this case, we've got a couple. This is an American couple from Fort Myers, Florida that had, family origins from abroad in the Caribbean. And in this particular case, specifically from Haiti. Now I want to be clear, these are Americans. They're Americans. Their family born in America, and their history is American. But they also decided that they would go back to their country to give back. And this is a pastor. Now, a lot of the stories that we've done a variety of different stories that you can go to our library, video library, and look at our crime stories. And we have a variety of different stories that covers the different aspects of different people and different scenarios. The recent stories we've done, it's been about women alone. And there's a lot of stories that we have to choose from to make these videos, a lot of different stories. And so this one's not a woman alone. This is a couple. It's a husband and a wife. Their family, they have children. They're all U.S. citizens. The guy was a pastor even, so it's not like there was anything within their lifestyle. And even some of the people, I'm not saying that you have to be a pastor. I'm just saying that, focusing on the fact that the man and the wife were missionaries, and they actually went to Haiti to give back this country. Now, pay attention to this theme because there are other stories that I didn't do today. I've skipped over some of the others to do this one.
But we should do them.
But we will be doing them, and soon enough. But they went back to the country to give back to the country, and they were planting churches. They were starting orphanages to help the children's widows and orphans, and planting churches and this kind of thing. So, as far as their character, there wasn't anything in their character to cause anything. And apparently it was a home invasion, so they didn't go somewhere. They were in their home. So, this is another thing. You could be in your home, minding your own business. You could be a person without any vices. People say, well, he doesn't have any vices, And, sitting in your own home, and they were home invaded.
It was a home invasion.
They were in their house where the invader came in and I guess found mom and dad and shot both of them. And
both of them get in their knees, they start praying, and that's when they shot both of them in the head.
Again, when you start looking at the similarity in some of these where the people entered their home, it comes to mind the idea that your home, you've heard that your home is your castle, or should be, or can be, but now your home also has to be fortified like a castle.
It should be your refuge.
You got to have like moats and walls and bars, and you got to have, what do you call those, towers with people with rifles and stuff? I'm just kidding, of course. Did I have you go in there for a minute? But they were home minding their own business. Their family said, they're Christian missionaries. If they wanted to break into the home and steal everything, they wouldn't have done anything. They would not have put up any resistance. They didn't have to be killed, but they were.
I love you, and I thank you so much for the way you raised us. That's what a daughter wishes she could tell her parents tonight, but she will never get the chance.
Fort Myers couple was killed while they were in Haiti doing missionary work.
They were returning locals, and you have a lot of returning locals in a lot of these countries. For example, in Mexico, you've got a lot of returning locals, a lot of returning Mexicans that have spent a lot of time in the U.S. You know, you've got returning Italians going to Italy from New York. You've got, returning Ecuadorians. When we were in Ecuador, lots of returning Ecuadorians. Yeah. And one may feel like, well, I'm not a foreigner. I'm an Ecuadorian. Crime won't affect me. I'm an Ecuadorian. But or I'm a Mexican. In Mexico. Or I'm an Italian in Italy. But the reality is, it appears from the facts that we're gleaning here, and from our experiences, as we've been saying all along, that really, if you have anything at all that just looks or smells like foreign, even if you're one of them, you stand out. You stand out and you're marked. We've talked about profiling. It's not just racial profiling, it's foreigner profiling. And once you get profiled, you get profiled as a rich person. That's where I'm going with this. And so once you get, even if you're originally part of the culture, and it's like, you get profiled as a returning rich. You're rich just because you used to live there. You used to live in a rich country and you came back, so you must be rich. You're worthy of robbery. And of course they were killed. It's like a missionary couple. This is a missionary couple.
They were there to do good.
They were
They're
there to do
people.
good, but that doesn't, it doesn't seem to matter who you are, what you're doing, what your position in life is, whether you're doing good or not doing good, or whether you think you're doing good or you're not, it doesn't seem to matter. But we can glean certain aspects from every single one of these cases, and the first and foremost aspect that I get out of it is security. Security has to be of prime and utmost importance in everyone's life, whether you're abroad or in your own home country, but especially when you go abroad, because at that point in time you do stand out and you do get profiled and you do get marked. That's the whole point of making these videos on our channel and putting them up on our channel. There's absolutely no relevancy to the comment that crime is everywhere. That's not the point. When you're immigrating or expating, whatever, you're the target.
Yeah, they just don't get it.
You're the target.
I bet you anything they had, because they speak French in Haiti, they had a French accent, and that gave it away because they've been living in the U.S. for so long. They quit speaking French. Then you go back and you have an accent. It gives it away.
It could be anything. When I was in Italy, my tennis shoes gave me away.
Oh yeah, that's right.
My tennis shoes gave me away. My red backpack gave me away.
Your ball cap gave it away.
My red backpack. I got that backpack in Panama, and it doesn't have the zipper at the top. It's got a string closing, kind of like a tent, a bag deal. And I really like that, because I don't like zipping and unzipping, because those zippers are always breaking. So I love that backpack, and no, I didn't want to give it up. I knew I stood out. We want to blend in as much as we can, and we talk about these kinds of things, blending in, but when it comes down to it, we seem to always have our little pet thing that we don't want to get rid of. But I'll tell you something, the way I compensate for maybe standing out and looking like a foreigner is I know how to act. I know what to do and what not to do, and I preempt these people because I already know what they're going to do, and unless I'm super tired and haven't slept, I'm usually way ahead of them. What do you think about this? They were Christian missionaries going there to give back, not just give back, but do good in the culture, do good in society, and just to say that crime does affect everyone. It's not any particular type of people, and these people weren't like elderly or woman alone. They were a young couple. They were a younger couple.
They look mid-40s and 50s.
Well, relatively young couple, so
they had 4 children back in the United States.
4 or 5 children, all born in USA, roots in Fort Myers, Florida. Speaking of which, there was an elderly retired American couple that moved to Baja, California. Actually, they'd been traveling there for 30 years on and off from San Diego that we did a video on. And it turns out, while we did say in that video that somebody had come by to rob them and then killed them and threw them down a well to hide the crime and all that, it turns out that the land that their property was on, this big ranch that their house was on, they knew the people, they knew the family, and it was somebody within that family, and they knew the person that ended up killing them. It turns out that he was actually a drug addict and a person clearly very conflicted with problems. And so it's not always, I bring that up just to kind of complete that previous story, to say that it's not always just a random. So they had an alarm, and these other people, I don't know whether they had an alarm or bars on their windows, but that's another thing. When you're in a neighborhood, you've heard, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans. If all your neighbors have bars and dogs, you better have bars and dogs, So leave us a comment below. Tell us your thoughts. Check out the other videos we got in the library. Thanks for coming, and as always, have a wonderful day.